Hello and welcome to the Visual Storytelling Podcast. We've got a quick episode today. Very happy to be back podcasting in this new year. I hope you're safe. I hope you're staying creative. With all we've been through in 2021, I think we can be hopeful for 2022. And I am sure hopeful for things getting back to some normality. Speaking of which, 2 trips planned for 2022, maybe more, but at least we've got, something to look forward to. And in my case, it's going to be photography in New York City. So, Stock Easy, Jason, Joe D'Agostino, and the gang, please make sure you are available in May because I'm going there right from Montreal, Canada. And I want to connect with you, maybe film a little video or even record a podcast with you guys. But most definitely shoot in the streets of New York. And the government actually just announced some, some of the restrictions will no longer be valid comes March, just in time for my birthday. So very happy about that. Still need to be careful out there, of course. I'm going to wear a mask. I'm actually going to see a show from one of my friends, and it's Elephant Stone. I don't know if you know that band. If you don't, please go see them. Very, very powerful indie rock, and I've been following the band for multiple years, and this will be the first time that I'm seeing the band live, so can't wait to see them in New York City. I think it's at the Sultan, so that's also a first. Never been to a show at the Sultan in New York. Been to multiple shows, but not that venue, so looking forward to it. So today's topic, I want to talk about something that I think I've addressed a couple times on the podcast, but not necessarily for an entire episode. And it is the relationship with social media for creativity. As you can imagine, as a creator, as a photographer, a storyteller, an educator, travel documentary, I think there's been, multiple years where we didn't really think about the impact of sharing all of our work through social media. Don't get me wrong. Social media is a wonderful tool in your arsenal to connect with people, to get discovered. Probably most of the interviews that I'm booking on the Fuji Love Conversation show have been done through Instagram. But I was discussing with another fellow photographer through another platform, and we were discussing how it's actually hurting our creativity, spending that amount of time on Instagram and Flickr and 500px or whatever the platform, not focusing on developing your own voice, your own style, but trying to mimic. And it's not something that people necessarily do intentionally. But when you're exposed to, people, vision and intention and art, it's okay to be inspired by it, but to try to mimic it, this is where it becomes a bit weird. And photography was never about being the most popular and being, getting likes for single images. I think, maybe I'm old school, but I think photography can be way more than that. I think photography can change things, and not that you cannot use Instagram as a tool to change things. I think you actually can. But if your only source of inspiration is Instagram for photography, I actually suggest you do something else to get your creative mind going. And I'm going to be very blunt and very back to basics, but if you don't own a single photography book from whoever, I don't care, recent photographer, old school photographer, Soil Lighter, Gordon Parks, or Matt Stewart, I highly recommend those three, by the way. Please do. Please, make yourself a favor and go buy one of those books. And you're going to see that it's very different experience than scrolling through a mobile phone screen. I'm not revealing any big news here, but I think it's important to understand the value of going through a good book, being inspired by some images, spending more time with one image versus the others, trying to understand what you like about it, the light, the composition, the tones, the message that the photo sends. And some of them are just, series of photographies about one topic. I'm thinking about, Gordon Parks and his photographs of crime in New York. Very, very interesting photos in there. But I'm also thinking about Matt Stewart, who just, shares about street photography, tips and tricks, how he composes images, and so on and so forth in a book like Think Like a Street Photographer. So for me, books are most definitely the most sane and inspiring way to build your own vision. You don't have instant gratification or feedback from a platform that's designed to serve you ads. No, the platform is designed to show you art. And of course, there's a distributor, there's a publisher, and there's a photographer trying to make money at the end of the day. But most importantly, those are the parties involved. There's no other brands trying to catch your eyeball or your attention. And don't get me wrong, I'm a marketer myself. I've built a career, around social media and all of those great touch points. But I'm starting to understand, for photographers and videographers and storytellers, I'm starting to see the limit of how this ecosystem can inspire you or not. I truly believe that I found less and less inspiration through those platforms than through other mediums like books, like movies. I mean, think about it. When you watch a movie and there's a certain scene that connects with you, think about why. Sometimes it can be the actual storyline. Sometimes it can be the light. Sometimes it can be the composition. And most certainly for me, it's, movies like Pulp Fiction as an example. Every scene is a story in itself, and it's filmed so, differently than other movies that it catches your attention, but also it's an ecosystem or a code, a language that speaks to me. So I find a lot of inspiration in movies like Pulp Fiction. I'm recently watching Yellowstone on Prime, and oh my God, the opening scene. So if you don't like, cowboy movies, and it's a modern day ranch cowboy movie, not movie series, but if you don't like that, please do yourself a favor and just watch the openings of the episodes. Any of them. They are well thought out. They are the DOP, the direction of photography on those scenes is probably one of the most inspiring thing I've seen in a long time in a series. Maybe since, 6 Feet Under or something, for different reasons, for the opening. Anyways, so again, movies, series, books. I would even say, go outside of photography realms. Take a book about architecture that doesn't focus on the gear or the photography or anything like that. Or just, pick up a history book and look at the photos in that book. I think you can find a lot of inspiration from those type of mediums. So does that mean that I think that social media is bad? No, I think that social media is definitely a way to connect with other people that is unprecedented. I mean, we can reach 1 million people through a keyboard, whether it's on a mobile or a laptop, in 5 seconds. That's powerful. The downside, it also comes with this constant request for attention, request for instant gratification. And we've been, eating that concept of being rewarded, very simple psychology concept, but being rewarded when we do something good, quote unquote. But if you start shooting for others, if you start shooting photos and videos for the approval of others, then I truly believe that creativity and pleasing yourself, that sounded weird, and producing work for yourself is getting lost in the way. Again, not because posting on Instagram or whatever the platform is bad. It's just that the way that the platforms are designed, right? So if you go on TikTok, platform is designed to make you scroll, consume, interact, like, then go to the next one, see 5 brands, see 2 ads, interact with those ads, convert. Don't get me wrong. This is the new TV. This is the new medium that people are on, and I accept it. I'm not against it. But again, I'm just trying to give you a different perspective on how to stay creative, how to keep the passion alive, because you can get burned out very easily spending a lot of time on those platforms. It's also algorithm driven versus a book, which is, just purely printed, page after page driven. The algorithms are designed to serve you the same soup that you said you liked a couple of years ago, over and over and over again, because you have a highly likelihood to convert to whatever the brand or the product is being sold. So I really encourage you to invest time, effort in searching for those new inspiration sources, like books, like movies, like series. I would even say, audio stories, like podcasts, like this podcast or other podcasts about creativity and art and other, related topics like that. Because at the end of the day, the time you're not spending scrolling and the time you're investing learning, this is going to do so much for your art, for your photography, for your videography, for your storytelling. So, what do you think about what I just said? I know it's not a popular opinion. I know some people agree. Some people actually quit social media entirely. I'm not there yet, but I'm there to recommend spending less time on it and more time designing your own ecosystem of inspirational mediums and tools and connections. I'm interested to learn what you think about that. You can send me an email at hello@fredranger.com, HELLO@fredranger.com. And also, please go ahead and subscribe to this podcast if you're not already. Give this podcast a 5-star review if you like it. And also, it would mean the world to me if you would share this podcast, because, hey, more people interacting is also very inspiring. So, I've been Fred Ranger. Be happy, enjoy life, and enjoy offline mediums. Cheers.